I saw this the other day. I just see this kind of stuff and laugh. It's like anyone, even the most normie of normies can probably look at this and realize, what it is. And whenever they show up somewhere in social media, they even try to do it on 4chan. Like when they always put forth these glowy groups. It's like you just look at it and it's like, and everybody's like, the reason they cover their faces is because if they didn't, you'd notice they were the same agents that all the others, all the other things. This has been like, a version of this has been tried so many times, and they've been busted so many times, like as far as in public perception, whether it's the Tiki Torch guys or the Patriot Front or whatever. The thing is, there's always people who know it's fake, right? But will use it to attack their enemies anyway. Like, see, there are Nazis roaming the streets. It's like, you know this isn't real. You're just using it for your side of the argument. It's so ridiculous. Try to be a little bit more subtle. Can you imagine that? Just try to put yourself in... Well, that's the problem. A lot of people can't put themselves in someone else's shoes. Like people like us that can. We have enough ability for abstraction that we can say, hey, if I was one of these type of guys, would I be getting together and say, all right, we got to pick like a rock band. We have to have the same kind of look and fashion, and we need these really nice flags that are all made. That we got to sink some money into this production, because throughout history, that's how all these kind of groups have always worked. They get a really nice look together, and then they go parading through the streets at a very slow pace, around the block a couple times, and then trucks pick them up and they jump in the back of cargo trucks, and then they drive away to some undisclosed government location after weeding through fucking traffic to lose people. That's how all those groups start. A little rain out here, a little drizzly. I'm gonna kind of go as long as I can, I guess. Listening to the latest album from Fat White Family. I like those guys. They're kind of fucked, but at least it's interesting. The track "Now You Become Man." I heard about it. I heard people talk about it, not being able to get through it or whatever. So I listened to the thing, and like I sat there after it ended for like, I felt like 3 minutes, and that's not a long time, but nowadays that's a long time. Back in the day, you might say, oh, I was sat there just stunned for like 10 minutes. No one goes that long without their fucking device in their hands anymore. But that's a fucking, wow, that's something else. I kind of didn't even realize how common circumcision was for older kids. I was raped and mutilated as a child against my will for a evil Jewish ritual without really having any way to stop it or think about it or experiencing it. It did its damage on my brain, though, for sure. You could see the difference between a kid that hasn't had it, has had it, and you can see the difference between kids that right before they have it and after they have it. It makes you scared, it makes you docile, it makes you walk around waiting for the next foot to drop, you know what I mean? It psychologically changes your, physiologically, would that be it? Yeah, changes your brain chemistry in a completely different way. It makes you a subversive kind of slave. It makes you a slave for religion you don't even have a fucking understanding of. Especially at that age, you don't know anything, But it's kind of shocking that this barbaric kind of fucking thing is still happening in the West. But all that aside, that happened to this motherfucker at 5. So the song basically is about how his father takes him. It sounds like it's on Ramadan, decelerating in the background. I don't know why. Is it Ramadan? I don't know. And they take him to, they tell him they're going to a bookshop. And he's like, oh, this is, why is everybody firing guns at the bookshop? And he describes being led into this kind of decrepit house with all these men. And subsequently, his dad's like, hold on. See that? That's why when I throw my cigarettes, I throw them in the gutter. Because those things come around. They sweep them all up. It's the right place to do it. I had a fight with a fucking tourist one day about that. He got really mad. I threw my cigarette on the ground. Turned into a whole thing where he followed me down the street. He stopped in traffic, and there's this big thing in the street. It's funny. I get in one of those occasionally. But yeah, this kid was 5, and just listening to him describe it, I don't know if he actually does the lead singer who this happened to. I don't know if he actually does the vocals on it, or if it's in the member of the band. But yeah, either way, well, in the video he's singing it. So I don't know, who the fuck knows, but it was his experience. You know, his dad give him a piece of wood and says, if it hurts, bite down on this. It's like, if it hurts, dude, you're being mutilated, you know? And around that time, and he's from Algiers, he's Algerian, that's how that works. He said there's like a big celebration around it. It's part of the culture, like when a boy gets circumcised. So he said it creates conflicting, you know, emotions in you, because on one hand you see your family and everybody all happy, and on the other hand you're having your dick ripped off, or the best part of it anyway. And it's done for Moloch. It's a way for them to make an offering to him. He wanted the whole son, Moloch, just a little clip notes, short version. And they were like, well, we need our sons because we need them for business. They have to keep creating money. Did you forget? That's our thing. And they're like, all right, well, we have to make some kind of sacrifice. Well, Moloch will be happy with this dick. And that's it. And that's it. Because, yeah, it still functions after that, but not very well. It takes the best part out of it with the idea, and the idea they say is to curb, you know, urges. It doesn't make any sense. It's the most extreme thing they could give Moloch next to the child's life. And that's it. And that's the reason why it is that way. And, you know, family still did it. My parents did it. They had no idea. They just did it because everybody else did it. They're like, oh, well, I want them to look like me. It's so fucking retarded. And then that goes into skin cream for some old Jewish woman. There's a whole trade surrounding foreskin. I gotta remember to call the Jews Khazars because I don't want to alert the algorithm. But I have sore on. I just woke up though, so I forget sometimes. I just woke up. It's like fucking 10 in the evening. What the fuck is wrong with me? What's going on with me? I guess I'm in a different ratio now. I don't know. I don't really. I spend a lot of time on certain aspects of doing this and very little on others. But yeah, this whole thing about the Trump, the thing I'm excited about, him regulating internet censorship, or he claims he's going to do that by making these companies more transparent or holding them accountable for shadow banning, things like that. On the flip side, he's, I guess, from what I picked up on, and I could be wrong, he seems very dedicated to stamping out anti-Semitism. So, which basically means anytime you mention them, you know, even if it's just like in the op sort of way I just did. And it's true, I didn't say anything wrong or bad, or I was just saying It's their ritual. They do this. This is from their situation with Moloch. I mean, it's just, that is what it is. But nothing hateful there. I don't hate them. I don't fucking care. I don't know them. So there's that thing where you gotta be free. And this is possible. I'm not really sure. This is just what I'm reading, what I'm seeing, picking up on. But he has a commitment to stamping out anti-Semitism, which basically probably means you can't mention them at all. And I understand why they're like that. You know, they're trying to do something here that, by their own admission, they say that if we were to find out about it, we would definitely pull a France on them. So it's like they must live in such fear. All the secrecy. Their life must be hell. You know, those that are involved in having to keep these terrible secrets and, you know, function as a worker bee for Satan in the material realm here. For exchange, they get riches and they get slaves at the end. My people become their slaves at the end if they, you know, if the whole thing goes to plan. I don't know why you would make any kind of arrangement with Satan, though. I don't know. He just doesn't seem like a really trustworthy guy. You know what I mean? Like he is the Prince of Lies. You know what I mean? That's his whole thing, is to trick people. So there's something else going on there with all of Satanism, like with all of Satan worship. It's like there's something I'm missing, because I'm just someone outside it, you know, and I look at it and go, well, I know what kind of guy he is, right? So why would you think, it's like, you know, these Instagram Satanists, they have this illusion that they're going to, when they die, they're going to be in hell sitting at the table with Satan. Like, oh, that post you did fucking 2 years ago was great. You have this chair. Yeah, we fucking really, we own the normies. What the fuck are they thinking? Well, I mean, and it's easy to think, oh, Satanists are stupid. Some of them are real smart, you know, some of them are intelligent and they got their shit together. I just don't understand that part of it is missing, that leap, like, where, all right, we're just going to go all in with this guy, and he's going to keep every promise. Or maybe the only result there is oblivion, a separation from God, being cast into the pit, whatever you call it, lake of fire, whether it's metaphorical or real, I don't fucking know. You know, I'm not meant to know how some of this shit works. That's why I don't ever tell people, you gotta go to hell. You know, I see so many people doing that. If you don't do this, you're gonna end up in the lake of fire. Like, even like well-meaning, I suppose, Christian guys I run into on YouTube that, you know, talk about how they know the right way to worship. And if you're not doing what they're telling you, you're gonna go to hell. You know, like reasonable sounding guys too, but they're like, all right, if you're following it this way, that's idolatry, automatically going to hell. If you're following it this way and you're trying to do works, you can't do works because all the works have been done for you by Jesus, so you're going to hell. It's like, it's such a slippery slope to hell in every direction, and I can see why people just are like, I don't want anything to do with that. You know, I want to just avoid all that. And that's indeed what happens to a lot of people. That's kind of what happened to me with that shit. It's like, I don't want to be involved in any of this because it doesn't make sense to me. And it's fucking spooky, you know. There's a lot of torture and death, and, you know, church always scared me as a kid. But I was into it, like I was into God for a while. You know, I was on the God train as a little kid. And coming back to him as an adult now, I see what happened. You know, I see where I got turned away from it. And sometimes the people working for Christianity seem to be either unaware or nefariously doing it on purpose, but it turns people away from faith and trying to understand your divinity. Ultimately, you can't trust anybody. You can't trust some man. Like this guy's watching the other day, seems like a nice dude, but he's like, he's talking about how important the scripture is. He's like, oh, I can't, if you don't follow scripture, you're going to hell guy, you know. And I'm like, well, you know, people talk a lot about the scripture, and it's great. I got a lot of, you know, time for that stuff. You know, I'm always reading through it myself. I got quite a extensive collection of pseudo letter-bound books, different versions of the Bible, and I collect those devotionals too. I should probably stop doing that, because all it is just a way to get $5 from you. But they look cool. Anyway, so I study that stuff too and look through it. And I get stuff out of it. But who wrote that? You can't tell me God wrote that. God doesn't write. Like, why would he write words on a paper? So at some point, you can, and they can argue all they want, but at some point, somewhere, back in the chain, a dude wrote that. Some guy wrote that. Okay, all right, guys. So we have to admit that it was written by a man, put on paper. Unless you're trying to tell me that this interdimensional being just fucking, he picked up a pen, just fucking sat down over the fucking Mountain Dew. It's ridiculous. No, a guy wrote it. A man wrote it. Men put this together. Well, who are these guys? Who was around them when they did this? Where are they from? What's their agenda? It's you gotta, anything that comes between divinity and you, and there's a dude there, you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful. You know, oh, you're gonna go to hell. Who says who? You? Spiritual tuning fork. The spiritual shit test. These things, it's a personal thing, unfortunately, and they hate hearing that too. They don't want you to make up your mind about anything. They say you can't make up your mind about any of this stuff. You have to buy their book to show you how to do this and that, or not even it's not even that crass sometimes, but they want some kind of control over your attention, or they want to insinuate that they're the only ones that can tell you how to line up with you. There's no one here that can do that. There is no man here that can do that. There's no woman, there's no mortal, there's no, you know, the 68 genders. There's no being here made of material that needs to stand between you and your creator. And I know they say, well, this person, you can't figure it out yourself. You're too dumb. You'll end up worshiping wrong and going to hell. Well, then so be it. So be it. You can sit on your cloud up there and make fun of me for burning in hell. See, I told you. I told you. You didn't watch the video at the end. Go fuck yourself. Got a relationship with God. Start your own. But even me saying that, you know, you'll hear guys say like, well, no, you're not starting a relationship with God. That's a demon that works his way in, pretending to be God. All right, well then everything leads back to them. Everything leads back to them, or their book, or their ministry, or their fucking YouTube channel. A lot of times, I'd rather fucking talk to Satanists. I'm learning more, because at least I know what the enemy, what their perspective is. And they're not telling me I'm going to hell. I'm not saying they're better people, objectively, but I'm going to get more out of it. Most of the stuff I know, like about the occult and stuff, I learned from the bad shit. I mean, you know, especially how things work, too. Like, I think it's good that people get rid of all their occult bullshit, accoutrement. I always celebrate that. But then I got a house full of it. And this is like maybe a character flaw, but I'm like, well, I need it because I need to know how this works. But no one else should have it. You know, so we're all susceptible to a little bit of that sort of egoism, I suppose. I don't know. I don't know how to protect myself from shit if I don't know the shit. So you gotta learn the shit. And it's not gonna be some fucking dude asking you to get him to 10,000 subs or to fucking join his Patreon, buy him a cup of coffee. Fuck your cup of coffee. Fucking asshole. See, now I'm mad. I'm mad and I didn't even walk around the neighborhood and get mad. Alright, well, I'm gonna head up. Thanks for dropping in. I always appreciate when you guys visit me, and more so when you have something to say in the comments. It's always cool. That's how I learn stuff, batting ideas around, you know. Until next I see you, don't blame the teacher, blame the school. this absolute unit.
Alert.
Wow, that didn't do much.
Villains beware. Engines at full power. Pride doesn't stand a chance.
He's pretty big too. Yeah, like he goes off by himself in the room and he's always making noise, but now I put him on camera and he's shy. An asshole.